keeping your attention singularly focused on the outcome. But if you don't know what you want at any given point throughout the day, where is your attention? So this is why writing things down, not journaling, those are two separate things. You're writing in both of those situations. But people tend to use their journal to, spill their guts, write about things that have happened or things they're upset about, so on and so forth. But in this case, when you write something down, you're writing it down because you're asking yourself, and I usually start with polarity. Where are you now and what are you doing? Miss M, I see you. I usually start with polarity, meaning where are you now and what are you doing? Because think about it. If you're going through your day and your mind is hither and yon and you find yourself in a particular mood and you don't even know what to do, you can always pick up your list and go, wait a minute, I can focus on this thing from my list. So you see, it is helpful to have a list of things, not just things, but perhaps attitudes, whatever that is. But like I say, I like to start with polarity. Where are you now and what are you doing? Shea butter. Because when you have that list, remember, your desires are born out of the things that you need. Your desires are born out of the things that you need. So where are you in the day? So you get out your pen and paper and you ask yourself a question. What do you want? Well, that depends. Where are you now? What's the thing in front of your face right now that you want to change? Okay, fine. You need a job. Well, when you write that answer down, may you say, what do you want? And you say, well, I want a job. Polarity says, well, tell me more. Begin to tell me about this ideal job. And you write it down. And you notice how you're writing it down in present tense. My new job is, and you write it down, whatever that new job is. My duties are, and you write it down. Yes? Reason being because you are writing it in present tense, here and now. So you write your list down for what you want in your job. But then, what if you say, okay, I don't just need a job. You could also on your list, you could write, I'd like to make new friends. What's my ideal friend? You start to compile your list so that whenever you're going through the day and you catch yourself in an unsavory mood, you can pull out that list and start to review it so that what are you doing there? You are refocusing yourself. You are removing your attention from your obstacles and you are putting them upon the desired outcome. So having the list to pull it out and look at it and say, oh my God, okay, I can refocus. Instead of, what was that thing again? What am I trying to do again? I don't know. Because it's so vague. You don't have it written. So you write your list out and you could have many lists. But the purpose of the list, you understand, is to keep you always pointed in the direction of your fulfilled desire. So that at any point, if you catch yourself and you say, I don't know what to do, you have a list somewhere. Pull it out and read something from it, because then you're going to be then you're going to refocus your mind. So instead of getting into a position where you feel down and sad about something that you have not accomplished, get your list out and read it out loud. Because why? It is written how? In present tense. It says, I am. Not I will be or I want to. You say on your list, I am. And automatically that helps you to refocus yourself. And it lifts you up from any place that you may deem dark. So today, I trust you have your blank piece of paper and some kind of writing utensil. Okay, fine. If you don't have a pen and paper, do you have a phone with notes in it? I like pen and paper or pencil and paper because I don't have to think about it. I just write. At the very top of your page, what is my desire? That is your question. What is my desire? What is it? Neville Goddard says your desires are born from your needs. What are your needs? The thing that's right in front of your face that is required for your existence. It's right there and it's happening right now. And it's glaringly obvious that you don't have it. So now you write down, what do you want? What is your desire? That's the first step. You must know the desire. You must know the desire. Because if you don't know what it is that you want, we end up in this frame of mind. Panic sets in, worry sets in, fear sets in because you don't know where you're going. It's dark. But when you answer the question, remember, you're answering the question. You're not justifying the answer to the question, which means I want a new job. I want a new car. Okay, write that down. It has nothing to do with, are you good enough for that? Oh, do you deserve that? It has nothing to do with deserving or undeserving. It has everything to do with, do you want it? So, what is your first answer? Be honest right here when you answer that question. Be honest when you answer the question. What is your desire? It doesn't matter what it is. Just be honest. You want it just because you want it. Period. Do not justify why you want it. Because the minute you justify, what happens? We end up in a situation where we now begin to question our own validity. Because perhaps you've heard somewhere, you're aiming too high. Oh, that's too big. Don't get too big for your britches. But that thing that you want, as Neville Goddard says, that thing that you want is your savior. Is food. The thirsty man, his savior is water. See? Peace of mind is the savior to the anxious. So simply answer the question. What do you want to create? Because that's what you're doing. And you just write down all on your list point form, because we'll expand on it in a minute. You jot all the things down that you want point form on that paper. Just answer them honestly and jot them down. See, now that you've jotted them down, I'm giving this to you on the fly. So you just jot it down. When you jot it down, now look through that list. Your eyes are going to land on one of those. And your body's going to say, really? But that's all right. Because remember, that's only a judgment. If you say, that is only a judgment. So what do you want to create in your life that will change your life? You have it there now? Good. Now that you have it written there, they tell you you no longer want it because you have it. How so do you have it? Let's use a phrase from Neville Goddard. He says, the law of reversibility. Okay? You are writing down what you want to create. And because you wrote it down and you accepted that that's what you want to create, you will be compelled to bring it about. What does that mean by reversibility then? It means if you can use heat to generate electricity, you can use electricity to generate heat. Cause and effect. So right now you are seeing the effect, the thing you wrote on the list. That is the effect you want. That is the effect. So now that you have the effect, which is the thing you want to experience, sit there with it for a moment. How does it make you feel? Do you begin to feel like, oh my God, this is like impossible. This is so far-fetched. This is, oh my God, can I really do this? Is that where it is? That's a great place to start from. It's a great place to start from. Because now we employ the 3 steps that Neville Goddard says. This is why having the list is important. Because you can see. And so now when you have the 3 steps, step 1, define the objective. Name what it is you want to create. Step 2, remove your attention from any obstacles. Any excuse that you can possibly come up with as to why you can't do it. Listen, we can name a million, can't we? But that's not the point. Remove your attention from there. And now begin to expand on that thing you say you want to create. How does it make you feel? How do you want to feel when you have it? Because it puts you in a mood, you understand, because that is step 3. When you remove your attention from any obstacles and put it singly on the desired outcome, your body is going to have a physiological response. You're going to feel some type of way. Either you're going to feel not possible, or you're going to feel, you know what? Nothing beats a failure but a try. I have nothing to lose. I may as well do it. So you're going to feel one or two of those ways. Which way do you want to feel? Do you want to feel as if this is impossible? Or do you want to bask in the glow of having fulfilled the thing you say you are creating? Sit with that for another moment there. Which one do you prefer to have? Now, when you answer that question, well, you know what? I prefer to bask in the afterglow of my wish fulfilled. See how your body begins to feel? You take a deep breath. And you're beginning to feel like, oh my God, what if I could really do this? And you start to bring that into play. What if I can? What if I'm really successful? What if she's totally out to lunch, but the thing can work? Now you're beginning to explore a different part of you. Now, in your mind's eye, in your imagination, you're beginning to form an image of what would it be like if I did this thing? What would it be like if I experienced this? And you begin to feel it. This is why the list is important. Because if you're going through the day and you are feeling a particular way, like you're feeling kind of hopeless, you're feeling like you can't win, and you get out that list and you begin to read that one thing that jumps out at you and you say, you know what? I am that. This is how it makes me feel. What happens to you? You now lifted yourself from the bowels of despair. That's what you've done by simply looking at the list. So the list is helpful to remind you that all things are possible. People tell you when you write it down, you're using all of your senses. You're thinking about it. You're becoming clear. You're speaking it. You're writing it. You're reading what you've written. Now, what have you done? You've impressed it upon your subconscious mind by writing it down. And then your body begins to respond and say, oh, well, this is possible. We can do this. And you get fired up and you feel like you can do anything. That's the point of having your list. No more stumbling through the dark when somebody says to you, what do you want to create? I don't know. I never really gave it much thought before. Write the list. Write it in point form first. Always start there. Because these things from a list will fall under a particular category. It will fall under either career, job, entrepreneur, or relationship, which can fall under parenting, intimate relationships or partnerships. Then we have things like money. How do you want to make money? What are your gifts and talents? That's another category. So you see, the list is important. You're not just writing it down because you're trying to make yourself feel special. You are already special. It's just that you don't want to acknowledge it. But I digress. That's another day. Write your list. Because when you begin to write the list, here's something. You want a new car. Year, make, model, color, standard, automatic, kilometers, price you want to pay. There's your list. Why? Because now you have honed in. You've created the effect. What happens with the law of reversibility? You have created the effect. Well, then the cause has to show up. And here's the funny thing about the cause. The cause will compel you to do something. The cause will compel you to act so that you can bring about the unfoldment of the desired effect. Your job, though, is to be clear. The question was not, can you afford the car? Because we can all find reasons why we cannot. Is it the right time? You're not doing it tomorrow, but write the list down. Because when you write it down and you go back and you look at it, you say, all right, I'm ready to pursue this thing now. I'm ready to give this thing on my list my full attention. 99.9% of the work has been done because you were clear about what you wanted. You did not allow your fear, your worry, your mother's fear, your mother's worry. You didn't allow those things to influence you because that's not how we're meant to live our lives. So when you write the thing down on the list, it may be something you want to accomplish in 3 years or 5 years. Write it down because that 3 years may end up being 3 months only because you gave yourself clarity to write it down. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, this thing just unfolded. It wasn't a coincidence. You were clear and you wrote it down and you were honest with yourself. Because for you to write that list, you're going to have to go through all of those obstacles in your mind because you're going to come up with them automatically anyway. And you'll find every reason why you can't. But here's the one reason why you can. I am. What is I am? I am is that still small voice that resides within your body. And how do you know that voice? Well, you will respond to it in one of two ways. Oh man, I should have done what you said. Or you will say, oh, I am sure glad I listened. So you see, all things are possible. They are possible. Not because I say that they're possible. I'm telling you, if you have an image, can you not copy it? Right. So the image must be mental first. So get these things out of your mind onto paper. What are those goals? I want to invest more money. Where do you want to invest? Write that down. What kind of market shares do you want? What kind of commodities do you want? Do you want to invest in gold? Do you want to invest in silver? What? Write it down. Because I tell you, you may go somewhere and you'll hear a funny thing. You'll hear somewhere across the room, somebody's talking about, oh my God, I just invested in this. I heard about this for this investment. But you have it on your list. You already outlined what you want your opportunity to look like. So you're ready. Writing the list helps you to prepare for your success. You're not writing the list in the hopes that it happens. You are writing the list because you are creating it. That's it. This morning was, you don't have to wait for something to happen. You're telling it. This is what you're doing. Are there any questions? Oh, Kay Frame, why, thank you for your generosity, darling. Thank you for that. Yay. Do you have any questions about how to start your list? Any comments? Ms. M, I know you're in the room. What do you want to share if you are in a position to do so? Go ahead. Ask your questions and we'll elaborate. Monique, hi.
Hello.
Ask away, darling. Ask. I know I can hear you're driving.
I am driving. I'm in New York City. I just wanted to tell you thank you because you just never know what God may place you in. And I needed to hear that. I don't want to cry, but I'm going through a time right now. And the enemy is trying to take me, and you brought me back to, you wrote it down. It's going to happen. Stay focused. Don't focus on the obstacles. Because when you focus on the obstacles, that's what's going to come, and it's going to blur what it is that you already said that you have. Because once you wrote it down, it shall come. So I just thank you. That's all I want to say.
Oh, Monique, you got me here now crying. You, girl, my eyes. Okay, let me breathe. This is why you get up and you do what you are compelled to do on a daily basis. Because as Monique says, I have no idea what she's going through. Do you think it was a coincidence that she just landed here? Cause and effect. At every turn, we are inspired to follow through, to be faithful. And just like she said, when you write it down, you're not saying perhaps it will happen or I wish this will. No, you are writing it down because that is what you are creating. And because you are creating it, because you wrote it there, you're giving it the blueprint to follow, to unfold. So you take your attention and you put it squarely upon your outcome. Now, Neville Goddard makes it easier. And he says, imagine, if you will, a short scene. This desired outcome, there's some kind of an action that you're going to do automatically. So for instance, he says, if you get that job, you're going to hear congratulations, because that would be natural, wouldn't it? Right. So if you want a new car, you're going to hear congratulations. If you've changed something about your attitude, somebody closest to you is going to say, oh, wow, you've changed. This is really good. You see, so he says the action that predominates, the self-fulfillment, which means that thing that you're going to do naturally, physically. So do it mentally then. When you create your scene, because you're looking at your list that you've written, you can go through that list and you can create the scene that says your wish has been fulfilled. So what is that phrase that you're going to say? Are you going to say, really, for me? Are you going to say, oh, why, thank you? I know, right? Doesn't it look good? Are you going to say that? Or you know you always have somebody in the mix who's going to say, oh, really? Why do all the good things seem to happen to you? You know, you always have one of those. You can use them too. Because even if they say, why do all the good things happen to you? You know what you're doing? You are confirming the fulfilled desire that you wrote down. So the scene that you prepare helps you to stay faithful to the desired outcome. Because Neville says the mental action that you take will bring about the physical response. Because it has to. Because the all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. So what is that small scene that confirms that the thing you wrote down is done? Because that's all you're doing. You're getting that small scene and your attention is only on that. And you replay that small scene, but something happens to you and you replay that scene. You get a little pumped up. You get a little hyped up. You get a little excited. You get ooh, internet. We're having some weather today. I don't know if fan base can still hear me, but if you can still hear me on fan base, pop over to YouTube because I'm using data over there. But that's the thing. When you write your list down, you are feeding yourself. You are feeding yourself. Do you understand? You are keeping yourself focused. You are keeping yourself clear. Of what? You're keeping yourself clear of any obstacle that can possibly happen. That's what you're doing. That is exactly what you are doing. Let me find it here and pin it so they can get to it. I don't know that they can. But does that make sense to you today? Let me know if it makes sense.
Oh, I hear you.
Did I cut out and come back because it's spinning on the thing?
Yes. You disappeared from the room, and I was concerned that it was going to close, but you got back in time.
There you go. I'm glad. But you see, let me re-say it again. The reason for that list and the small scene that confirms, because I want to put it to you this way then. You know that conversation you have in your head, because this is always the one that we can relate to. You know when you argue with someone in your head? You're not seeing them at the moment, so you're having an imaginary argument. Huh? Yes, you sure are. You're cussing them out because they pissed you off. What happens? You end up doing what? Having to have an argument on the outside, don't you? About the same thing you were just arguing about inside your head. So if it works with a mental argument, all you're doing is replaying a mental scene, a mental image. So it works. The law of reversibility, it is cause and effect, but reversibility makes things easier to grasp. If you can have that argument mentally to bring about a physical interaction, right? You can have that mental image in your mind, that scene that you replay over and over and over. Well, then it's only a matter of time until you encounter the thing that you have been replaying over and over in your mind. That's all you're doing, day in and day out. So then you write the things down on your list. You are not writing from a place of hoping that it happens. You are writing from a place that says, I am the farmer and I am planting seeds. And if I plant it, I have to reap it. That is the mindset you are writing your list from. As a farmer, as a creator, that's where you're writing from. We don't hope, we don't wish, we create. So that anytime that you forget yourself, anytime that you forget that you're a creator and you get caught up in life with bills and responsibilities, get that list. Listen, you have fridge magnets, put it up on the fridge. Put it somewhere. Fold it and put it in your wallet. Put it in your glove box. But put it somewhere where you have ready access to it, so that when you pull it out and you read it, you get yourself fired up again and refocused. That's the purpose. That is the purpose. Questions? About anything you might want to write on that list. How are you going to get yourself through it? Those kinds of things.
So remember the other day when we were talking about bliss? I've been inspired to get really specific about what that means to me.
Yes.
And now you just gave me the blueprint for how to make it really clear and specific. A person that I was following online in a completely unrelated marketing space basically said that their life changed and their business changed when they went through the exercise of defining their ideal day, and they got really specific about from the time they woke up to the time they went to sleep, what it looked like, what it ate, what they ate, who they talked to, what their environment around them looked like, everything.
Yeah.
And so I am inspired now. You've just given me the blueprint to define my bliss.
Yes, Shea Butter. Because when you write bliss on the page, now you get a little perked up. And then you have to ask yourself, what does bliss feel like? And then you begin to answer that question. And you say, well, it feels like ... And you write it down. like your ideal day, like you were saying, the kind of people you want to interact with. And you say, oh, the places I want to go, the places I want to see, the coffee I want to try, the tea I want to try. What does that bliss look like to you? You see, when you write it down, her key word there was the blueprint. Because the blueprint is what helps you to recreate from your mental into your physical. Without a blueprint, meaning if you cannot answer the question, what do you want? If you can't answer that question, how are you going to get it? Huh? Because you have to take the formless and shape it into form. What form? That's why you have to answer the question, what do you want? And the question again has nothing to do with if you deserve it. Oh, but I was the middle child, I wasn't very smart. Maybe I don't deserve good things. It has nothing to do with your deservedness. It has nothing to do with your worthiness. You'll find that when you write it down, you'll get over that real quick. Because those two things can't be in the same space. If you're writing down your bliss, and that bliss has your body, and you just get this bubbling in your chest. It's not gas, okay? It's just this, ooh, that you perk you up, you awaken yourself. That bliss, where are you going to fit unworthiness in there? It can't. They cannot occupy the same space. So the bliss now begins to override your sense of, oh, but what if I'm not good enough? No, as long as you focus on the bliss. As long as you remain focused on the bliss, the unworthiness takes care of itself. Why? Because things die for want of attention. That's why. So when you put your attention and your focus upon the desired outcome, and you replay that scene, that small scene, it could be a word that you want to say throughout the day that confirms your bliss. You could say, oh, wow, isn't that wonderful? And next thing you know, you're saying it. And you catch yourself and you say, oh, I just experienced bliss. That's the point of writing things down. It is there to help you take away the woohoo and the magic, because it is law. You're genuinely using polarity because you're looking at where you are and what you're doing, and you say, oh, well, this is unsatisfactory. And then polarity, in all of her grace, will say to you, well, where do you want to be then? And what would you prefer to be doing? So you have to remove your attention from the thing that is undesirable and put it solely upon the thing that is desirable, so that you can do what? Bring it about. Ah, Miss M, thank you for your generosity also today. So you see, writing it down, you're using and engaging all of your senses. And when you engage all of your senses, including the feeling, this is happening to you when you write it down. When you say bliss, something happens to you in your chest, in your belly. You get a little butterflies. You feel, ooh, this is nice. Oh, now you have impressed the subconscious mind. You've just used the law of gender. You said bliss. You projected bliss, which is masculine, the projection, into where? Your subconscious mind. And that bliss, you became self-impregnated, because your subconscious mind is the womb. And from the womb comes what? Your offspring of bliss. So when you write, you are looking at the words and reading them. You are reading it out loud so you can hear them. You are using kinetics. You are writing. You're physically doing something. But not only that, now the sensation that is accompanied by what you wrote. And now here you have impressed your subconscious mind. And it will unfold. You will be guided. The best word to use is compulsion. That's the best word to use, compulsion. You're forced to act. Why? Because you made the choice to say, I'm going to do this thing. I'm doing this. And when you say you're doing it mentally, then in order for that mental thing to become physical, you have to do something in between. So you're going to be pulled in a direction. Do this, go here, call this person, open this email, and you will act under compulsion of the choice that you've made. So writing it down is your choice. And the fulfillment of that thing you wrote down will cause you to act. It goes the opposite way as well. If you write in your journal, oh my God, I hate this person, they suck, my life is blah, blah, blah. Oh, look at how that feels to remember all those things that are painful. Not only are you writing it, you're recalling that memory. And when you recall that memory, you are impressing it on your subconscious mind. And when you impress it there, what must you do? Express it. Go ahead, Monique.
Because you brought up a question that I was going to ask, because I was like, you write everything down, but the part for me is just doing it. But can you explain a little bit more on what you just talked about when it's going to pull you to do it? Because that's where I'm getting stuck here. Like, I have the plan, and like you say, things do come. Write it down. I'll give you a quick example. I want to be financially free, right? So right now, what I'm trying to do is I'm going to invest in the stock market. I have a plan. Invest a certain amount every month, do it long term, and every 3 months pull out my profit and then reinvest a portion of the profit. Pay myself and reinvest a portion, right? So I already set up the accounts, put money in, but it's like, I need to get up. I'm waking up at 4 a.m. to get up to trade, but I'm not getting up to actually doing it. Like, how do you get past that push? Like, you have everything wrote down, you know the plan, you know you got the blueprint, but you just like, I'm just staying there, I'm stagnated. I know everything to do, but I'm not moving forward.
I hear that. Here's the fix.
And I'm put you on mute because I'm going to run in to get my son, but I'm listening. So if I don't say anything, that's why.
That's all right. That's all right. Step 1, you have defined your objective, financial freedom, which means bills take care of themselves pretty much. Everything is done. You don't got to worry about a thing. That is what you're looking for. Now, step 2. What would confirm it? What action would confirm it? What is that thing you're going to do, the first thing you're going to do that proves to you or that confirms your financial freedom? What is that thing? When you discover what that thing is that you're going to do, whatever that is, somebody who's close to you will say, oh my God, can I borrow money from you? How come you got so much money? Can I borrow? Right. Somebody may come and borrow because you have a lot now, right? And so then you get to teach them. I digress. So mentally, you have to do the action of financial freedom. Mentally. So whatever that small scene is where you see a figure in your bank account, or you see your tax return, or whatever it is that confirms the freedom of finances, whatever that thing is. So you're looking at your bank account, you are looking at your portfolio, it is expanded, it is huge, you're the next Warren Buffett, you know what I mean? What is that? So when you think about, right, when you think about what that is, now go into your mind, just like you're having a mental conversation with someone, okay? Just like you're rehearsing what you want to say to somebody. Go into your mind and mentally rehearse that small thing that confirms you are financially free. You do it every night as you fall asleep, because when you are replaying it, when you are rehearsing it, I use the word rehearse and not visualize for a reason. Visualize means you're watching it happen. Rehearsing it means you're doing it. You are the one who is doing financial freedom. So you have to do the scene. You have to play it out. So if you hear yourself saying to somebody, or you are seeing yourself open up your portfolio and you see how big that number is, and you've got to do it mentally first. The reason you do it mentally first, that right there is where free will ends.
Thank you. I got it, because I've been seeing myself, but I haven't been rehearsing like you say. So I need to see myself getting up. I need to be talking to myself saying, oh, that was a good trade. How you do that? I need to be seeing my risk management plan. I need to actually be rehearsing it and not just seeing it, but I need to be in it.
Yes.
I need to be in it.
Yes.
I got it. Thank you so much.
Yes. Because when you rehearse it, you see, any actor worth their salt, the script is imaginary. It's a story that they're telling. They're pretending. But when they get on the big screen, they want to do something to you. They want to move you. They want to make you feel something. So when you imagine your small scene in your mind, it has to move you. You hear what I'm saying? It has to move you. You have to, you are the audience, right? You're the audience, but you're the main actor. So you now, when you play this scene in your head, and you are feeling the mouse in your hand as you do your trade, and you're like, oh yeah, I did it. Or you hear the little ding where the money rolls in, whatever that thing, that small scene is. Rehearse it over and over and over and over again, because now the feeling builds in your body. Why? I told you free will ends when you make the choice. Because now that you have the feeling of financial freedom in your body, and that scene, the same way you can argue with somebody in your mind and have them show up and you argue with them, is the exact same way that when you replay that scene over and over, you rehearse it. Because when you're arguing, what are you doing? Rehearsing what you're going to say. And you hear yourself saying it, and you feel it in your body as you say it. Do that same thing, but with the desired outcome mentally. And free will ends right there, because now financial freedom is going to unfold. And when it unfolds, you just have to hold on for the ride, because you're going to have to do this, you're going to have to do that, but it pulls you in the direction of financial freedom. It pulls you. It will show you what to do, because now you're just going to be like, oh my God, I feel the urge to, and you go out, or you hear something like, oh, you know what? This is a great stock. You're just looking at it, and all of a sudden you hear, buy this stock, buy these many shares. Where'd that come from? You are under compulsion to act because you made the decision mentally and you rehearsed it. So now you have to play out your rehearsal on the big stage. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. It makes a lot of sense, and I appreciate it. It gives me direction. Do you have a cash app? Because I would like to sow a seed into the word that you have given to me today. Is there any way you can message me that?
I will message you. I will message you, but Canadians don't have Cash App. I only have PayPal. When I'm done the stream, do you know how to check your DMs here on Fanbase?
It's on PayPal?
Yes.
I don't have PayPal, but I have Zella.
Leave it with me.
No.
I will, don't worry. I will get into contact with you.
Okay, because I want to sow a seed in you. God placed the number to sow into the word that you have given me, because you don't even know how long I've been stuck.
Wow.
So I appreciate it.
Monique, amen. Thank you very much. I've been learning, you see, to say thank you. That's all I've been learning to do. So I will hit you up. Don't fret. Here's a question from Take Some, Leave Some. Scene creation. I'm seeing myself first person, or am I only seeing the scene because I am actively in the scene? Third person. Okay, let's talk about it again. When you are arguing with someone in your mind who's pissed you off, are you third person? Nope, you're not. Because your body is fully engaged in the activity of cussing them out. So first person is you actually rehearsing what you're going to say, to be or not to be. That is the question. You know, I'm rehearsing Hamlet right now. So when I get on the stage, when I say to be, or if I say, Romeo, oh Romeo, wherefore art thou, O Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name. Because she's trying to convince him that even though they are opposing families, deny his father and be with her, is what he's saying. what Juliet is saying. So the whole point of rehearsing the scene is to convey your conviction to the audience. You want the audience to believe you. So rehearse it until you believe it. How do you know that you believe it? Your body is going to tell you. Because when you're cussing that person out and your heart's racing and your nostrils are flared and you're gripping the steering wheel and you're mad, you are convinced that this person has pissed you off. You're convinced. So when you are rehearsing the scene, it's not a scene that you are observing. It is a scene that you are playing out. You are the Denzel Washington. You're the Angela Bassett. You're playing the role. How do you want to say it? How do you want to say it? You want to be like Color Purple? I had to fight all my life. Convey the emotion. When you rehearse it, you are immersed in the character. That's never going to be third person. Third person doesn't feel, they observe. So for you as first person, take some, leave some. Get fully engaged in the scene. You're the one trying to convince the audience of something. You are the audience, but you're the lead actor. So when you get up and you rehearse what you're going to say. You say, as for instance, if you are mentally saying you're being interviewed by someone, someone, Joe Rogan, I guess, let's just throw that out there. In your mind's eye, in your imagination, what are you going to tell Joe? What kind of question is Joe going to ask you? Give him the question to ask you. And then you answer the question and you say, well, Joe, this is how things happened. And you could also say something like, what had happened was, Joe, depending on your mood. What kind of message do you want to convey to Joe? You've got to get that message. You've got to feel that message mentally. Because you are mentally doing it. Because when you mentally do something, you are compelled to physically act. Oh, and you will. And the example I will always come back to is that argument you're having. Right? Because it's real to us. When you know somebody who pissed you off and you got to cuss them out, right? You're doing it in your head. And then what happens? You're going down the grocery store and all of a sudden, you cussing somebody out. Well, you just rehearsed how to cuss somebody out. So you have to play it out. So the same way that you can be engaged, right? Be engaged in your action. How do you want your expression to look like? Do you want to be coy? Do you want to smile? See all of that in the mental because it will play out in the physical. So the importance of your list is critical. But honesty with self is also critical. Honesty with self. Because I can say, well, why do you want a new car? Well, the one I got is broken. Child, please. You want a new car because you want to be hip. Just be honest. Be honest with yourself. You want a new job because why? These people don't listen to you. They don't see your value, but you see your value. So you want to be in a career that acknowledges that. So be honest when you ask the question, what do you want? Reason being, when you answer the question honestly, you are stirred up. You are stirred up. You are invigorated. And then you're writing furiously and frantically. Okay, so my ideal job is this. I want to feel like this when I go to work. And so these are my coworkers. They're going to be like this. And that's what you're doing. Over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. So that anytime you find life to be overwhelming in a little bit, get that list. And help to refocus yourself. Take some, leave some says, well, thank you. I have been practicing and have started to tingle and it feels like my body is breaking into small particles. Yes. But that's exactly what happens. When you create mentally, you just rebuild physically. The architect builds it mentally first, sketches it out on paper, and then what happens? He knows exactly who to hire. To do what? Dig a foundation, pour the concrete, the rebar, everything comes together. But it comes together because you have given it form. So when you write your list, break it out into categories. After everything is on point form, because you say, what do you want? You write down everything that you want frantically. Now go through and let's get more detailed. From that list of point form that you just wrote down, career, relationship, parenting, money, hobbies, all of those things will come out of that list. So give them their own page. Now, how do your hobbies make you feel when you do them? That's what I'm saying. Well, write that down. What do you want this hobby to be like? What do you want to do with this hobby? You want to just have fun with it? Write that down. Because as you're writing it down, how you feel about that hobby, yeah, your body begins to tingle, doesn't it? So that now, if ever you find yourself in a situation that says, alas, I don't know what to do with myself today, get out the list. Pick something from the list and read it. Speak it out loud. Oh, and then you're all fired up and refocused. So you see, my beautiful friends, today is a good day. That list. I know Miss M, hey, double A, Everyday King, I see you. Miss M, did you want to share something here in the chat on YouTube if you are available to do so? Because lists are individual things. And here it comes now for knowing yourself. What is your personality? Right? What is your personality? You have a particular way of doing things. Perhaps you're organized. Well, then when you write your list down, you're going to be super organized with those. Sure, that's your personality. What if you see visions first before you hear something? Well, then go with what you see first and write down that description of what you've seen. Because at the end of the day, what you have seen is going to stir you up. So it doesn't matter what your personality is. The reason why it matters is because my way is my way to write my list, because I am me. But you're you. So what stirs you up? Do you hear? And you hear in your head and you write down what you've heard? Are you like super duper creative and you see in pictures and you build your vision board? Do what comes naturally to you to bring about the fulfillment of your desire. I'm a water personality. I just take in all the information and I hear things and I feel and I move according to the direction that moves me. My bestie, on the other hand, raw fire. Just raw fire. She's got to move and get it done. She's action oriented. Me, I plan. But clarity, having the clarity will allow your fire to burn at its best and brightest without wearing you out. Clarity will help a water person to dig a trench so that they are always focused and not just saying, ooh, I'll run in any direction I want, because you know water, right? But the clarity brings out your best self because you are focused. That's what happens with clarity. Hey, Marjorie. Yeah, that's what happens with clarity. So the list is serving the purpose of many things. It is showing you what you want. It is showing you your honesty. It is teaching you not to judge yourself. Because here's what happens when you judge yourself. Oh, but I'm not worthy of that. Oh, but what if that is beyond me? Oh, okay. So where's your attention now? On the judgment. And what happens? Oh, yep. That's what happens. You end up being judged and feeling inadequate. And then what happens to you? You stop doing it. Don't judge. The desire did not originate out of thin air. You became aware of the desire. Oh, you became aware of the desire. So follow through with it. Don't worry about, is it possible or is it not possible? If you have a blueprint, all things are possible. So write your list. And the only question you're asking is, what do I want? You don't know what you want. Where are you now? What are you doing? That's the best place to start with the law of polarity. Where are you now and what are you doing? Because chances are, listen, if where you are and what you're doing is pleasing, carry on. But if where you are and what you're doing is displeasing, what do you want to do instead? Do not qualify yourself because you are already qualified. Come on, you are already qualified. How do you know you're already qualified? Because you're here. Whether you are here in this dimension or you are in another, you are qualified because you exist, because you are. That is your only qualifier. You are, or in this case, I am. That is the only qualifier you require. So now when you answer the question and you write it down, what do I want? Well, where am I now? You know, I'm here right now. What am I doing? And you write down what you're doing. You know what? I'm going to a mundane thing every day, 9 to 5. You know what? I just feel like it's sucking my life. So what do I want? And you write down, I want to create a new job or a new career. Doing what? Because remember, where are you and what are you doing? Two things. And you write it down. What's your ideal job? So now, when you get that clear image of your ideal thing from your list, you go into your mind, go into your imagination, and simply rehearse your congratulatory thing. You know, if you're an actor, what is every actor's goal? Oh my God, thank the Academy. They love me. They really love me. And you're rehearsing for your Oscar, your Emmy, your SAG award. You're rehearsing. So begin to rehearse it mentally because you don't have the Oscar on the mantle, do you? No, not yet. But the minute you start rehearsing that you have your Oscar or your Grammy or your SAG award or your Emmy, you better make space on the mantle for it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're a writer. What do you see your book? Are you being interviewed about your book? Rehearse mentally and allow it, like leave some, take some, leave some says. Allow your whole body to become engaged with what you're doing. And then you're going to get up and you're going to have an idea. Oh, go here. Go there. The phone will ring. You'll get an email and you'll clutch your pearls and go, oh, what a coincidence. Why, I was just thinking of the same thing. Oh, look at the synchronicities. What synchronicities? What coincidences? The thing is unfolding because you rehearsed it. That's what it is. And begin to do a dance when you recognize. Get down tonight. Do a dance when you recognize. Because Neville says that feeling of joy or victory will course through your veins. And you can't help yourself. That's how you'll know you've been self-impregnated. Oh, that's how you'll know the seed is taking root. Oh, then your body corresponds to say, oh, there it is. And then you go about making room for it. That's what you do. Day in and day out when you write your list. So finally, I will end here. Are there any questions? Flo smiles, girl. I see you.
Yes, please tell me it's on replay.
Oh, hey, Marquise.
Hey, I came in late. I was asleep.
Listen, it's okay. There's always a replay, baby. There's always a replay on YouTube.
Yes, that's what I need.
But yes, be encouraged to answer the question when you get that blank piece of paper. What do I want to create in my life? Answer the question. I want to create financial abundance. Well, what does it look like? How does it make you feel to think about it? Write that down. You want to have multiple streams of income? Well, fine. Begin to see it. Here. The universe is a mental creation. So build it mentally, and you'll know that it has taken root, and you'll know when you've tipped the scale. You'll know when you have tipped the scale because you'll feel a confirmation in your body. Neville calls it the Sabbath. He says you become impotent, after you've reached the climax, the hill, and then you just lay there and you say, let me just bask in this afterglow.
Hey, Neville was getting deep. That's what I like about it. It's so descriptive. Yes. You don't say it in a way that's repulsive, but if you get it, you get it.
Exactly, Marquise. Exactly. He says it to you in a way, because if you think about it, what is creation if not passion itself? See, we have this limited sense of passion because we think that the passion only exists in the physical form. But in actuality, you must feel that passion mentally before you can exhibit that passion physically. Because let me tell you something, if you don't feel that passion mentally, there's no amount of anything you're doing in the physical is going to bring about that passion. But I digress. So it's always going to be in the mind first. And so now Neville calls it, see, when you hear where two or more are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst. So when your imaginal act has been fully impressed upon your subconscious mind, your body now responds. So now the two things, the desire and the body, have now become one. That's why you leave your mother and father and you cleave to your wife. The two become one flesh. The desire, the imagined desire, and its physical expression are not two, but one. That's where the two become one. Ty's Tidbits. Hey. These guys are over here on YouTube in the chat. But I trust these things make a little bit more sense to you today. Hey, Claire.
So let me ask you this. So
Yes.
So is that why the subconscious mind is called the womb?
Yes. 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 Because if you go back to Genesis and you read, let there be light, it says there was water, right? This void. It was just a void. But the light came from it. Life came from it. So it is a womb. The subconscious mind is a womb. And we've planted many seeds in the subconscious mind. Seeds by way of habits, the way we live, the way we think about ourselves. All those things are stored in the subconscious mind. So when you think that you're acting consciously, you're actually behaving under compulsion of the thing planted in your subconscious mind. Whether you were the one to plant it or someone else, you are acting under the compulsion of that thing that is in your subconscious mind. It wants to have life. So in a womb, that's what happens. Life comes out of it. So that's why when you spend the time to write these things down and get the feeling, this is why the feeling is important. You ever remember that time when somebody insulted you and it made you feel so bad and it stuck with you? Right there. The feeling is what, it's like a hot branding iron. It leaves an impression right away. Whereas we can impress the subconscious mind by rote memory also, by doing the same thing the same way every time.
You know what I was thinking about that feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Feeling. All five senses need to be engaged. Every sense on a cosmic level. When you do that, that gives you the greatest sense of feeling.
Yes, that's exactly it. That's why writing is important. because you're using the hands, you're touching, you're tactile, you're kinetic. You're reading it out loud. You're also seeing yourself do it. All of those senses are engaged when you write. And that's what leaves the impression upon the subconscious mind. And whatever is impressed, as we read from Neville, is expressed. So the beauty, my friends, today, hey, Mac Lover, Coach. I see you coaches on YouTube. But you get it. That's why when you are rehearsing your scene, Neville says, mentally envision the rose. Touch it. Can you feel the petals? Can you smell it? Engage the senses mentally. Because then physically, you will experience it. So that's why you do the thing mentally first. You got to get your mind right. That's what we hear, isn't it? You get the mind where you want it to be. You prime it. Prime the mind. Because the mind now, what is mind? Let's say that. Right now, all of you are here. You are aware that you're here and you can hear me. You're aware. You're aware of your body sitting there or laying there, so you're aware. But there's another awareness. That awareness, I am, is the thing that allows you to know where you are. Oh, I'm sitting here. How do you know you're sitting there? Your awareness, your mind, your consciousness. That's how you know you're sitting there. So you see, the mind is your awareness of your own existence and what you are capable of. Some things we are aware of and some things we are not aware of, but we come into that awareness. So when you are rehearsing your small scene, listen, don't make it complicated. If the first thing that's going to come out of your mouth when you get that new thing is, oh, thank you, then let that be the rehearsal. Or if the first thing that you know is going to come out of your mouth is, oh my God, then rehearse that. But rehearse it and rehearse it and rehearse it and rehearse it and rehearse it till your body tells you, we got it in the bag. How do you know? Because your body will respond to the stimulus you put it through mentally. How is that actor on the stage making you cry? They didn't slap you. They didn't call you names. No, they mentally stimulated you to make you cry over something that wasn't even real, but you cried nonetheless. So when you are rehearsing, that's what you're doing. It is called conviction. The thing that moves you but keeps you secure. Oh, how? It moves you because it causes you to act on what you know. You're sure of it. And it keeps you secure because nothing from the outside can move you because you're firmly rooted in your conviction. You know it to be true. So you don't deviate. Nothing can shake you. The conviction moves but firms. All at the same time. Moves and firms you. So I trust today that as you practice your mental exercises, remember, you are not visualizing, you're not watching anybody. You are the main actor. You are participating. You are doing it. So rehearse and see how long it takes you to convince yourself that it is done. Because as soon as you are convinced or convicted, well then, the only thing left for it to do is to show itself in the physical. That is why we persist. I trust today that made sense. Woo, child, we in low power mode now. 10%.
That's all right. That's all right. We still charged up. You know what I'm saying? That low power ain't gonna do nothing. We gonna never stop. Look, I woke up out my sleep. I heard that. I seen you. I knew what time you was going on, but I tell you what, though, just catching the tail end has been so magnificent. I'm grabbing my pen right now. I'm ready.
But that's it. All that needs to be written on that paper is, what do I want to create? And you can also write on there, how does it make me feel? So if you write something down and you say, but I can't, I don't know what to do. I'm scared. Well, you know that's fear. The law does not breed fear. That fear didn't come from you on the inside. Oh, no, 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 no. That fear is a memory, something you've heard. But what is the truth? The truth is, so long as you have the blueprint, all things are possible. That is the truth. So you put your attention upon what is true. What does the scripture say? What is good? Whatever is a good report. What is true? What is honest? And what does it say to do? Think on those things. So you put your attention on those things. You don't put your attention on the fear, because what happens? Oh, man. You just breed more of that. So
like Neville said, being flooded by the facts.
There you have it. That's it. Exactly. Allow it to just let that scene and how you feel about it, let it fill you up. He says the thrill of victory coursing through your body. Allow that to happen to you. That's the work that you've got to do, to take yourself from to where you say you want to be mentally. Do it mentally, and you will have no choice but to do it physically. But you will get every single opportunity. Go here, do this, call this person, it will just come out of nowhere at you. Or so it seems. You're being guided by who? The still small voice within. So just practice your rehearsal mentally. And my DMs are always open, because I know what I expect to hear. I've already heard it. So that's all there is. Ashley, honey, look at you. Girl, you're going to have to be part of the replay gang today. My phone is going to die, because that's where YouTube is on my phone. But fan base, listen, we can still kick it, because I'm sure you might have more questions. So for those of you on YouTube who don't have fan base, that's okay. I still love you. I know what it is to have another app. Trust me, I know. So you don't have to do anything. But if you are on fan base already and you want to pop over here, you sure can, just in case there are more questions, because I don't want my phone to just die on you. But I trust that today made sense. Yes. Just start writing. Just start. You already have the question and you already know the answer. How do you feel about it now? And begin to rehearse how you feel. Do that. Do that. And more to Monique, you mentioned something, and then I'll close here. You said you felt stuck. Well, according to the law of vibration, you're always moving. You're never stuck. But I understand. See, because now you're unstuck, aren't you? This is the beauty of the law that we practice and we live day in and day out. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, causation, and gender. Those are the 7 principles, the laws that run underneath every single thing that we do. And we can only ever get it according to law, because we cannot be contrary to law. It is not possible to be contrary to law. So even if you're doing bad things, you're going to got to keep doing bad things until you change to do something good, because it is law. An object in motion stays in motion. Yes? Anyhow, my beautiful friends, double A. That's all right, double A. You're never late, honey. We always on time. Right? So I trust that makes sense. YouTube, I love you. And for Ms. M and for K-Frame, again, thank you for your generosity today. It is appreciated. Thank you. And you know where to find me. Much love to you, YouTube.